Hello, and welcome to Decima Sick but wants to do things anyway. So, today we're going to talk about specifically the eye texture on your model. I'm currently in numpad view, and you could do Shift F to fly around depending on your blender version. I use an older blender with the preferences set to Blender 3.6 for my comfort, so a lot of the key bindings will be kind of generalized in this area. So some of my controls may not match up to your controls if you're using a newer blender. This is just for my comfort and what I wanted to do. But today we're going to talk about the eye texture. Click on pad 1, and I finally have a cute little thing here that shows what I'm doing. So for the eye texture, I'm actually just going to come here and let me scooch this over. There. Now we can see my entire screen. Wow. So I'm gonna hit this button over here. Let me scroll and throw this all the way up here. So copy the eye material, and what you want to do is click this plus button and then paste it, new, and then paste material. You want to call this eyes 2, which one do's follow along. L, and now assign it to I2. Now I want to change the eye texture to this pink. Just like that, you have 2 different eye textures. And give me a moment to pause so I can get the rest of the stuff ready. Okay, so we're going to talk about the sclera, which is the white part of the eye. There is 2 ways to do it. When you're starting out, you may not care so much about material count, and that's totally okay. So I'll show you that way first, and then I'll show you the quotation mark proper way. But we would just go to edit mode, which for me is tab, and then we're going to select the white parts of the eyes. And just for clarity, you can select it by UV, sharp, material. And for right now, I'm just doing UVs because I want to only select that. And from here, we're going to make another new material, click sign, new, and just change it to black. That's slightly reflective and we don't want that, so I'll just turn down the specular if you have it on principled BSDF like I do. And just like that, we have black scleras. And if I was to assign this back onto the face texture, it'll go back to the white, because I didn't move it, I didn't mess with the UV mapping or anything like that. So there's, like I said, there's multiple ways to change your scleras or eye textures, but I'll specifically just talk about the scleras again. So what if I want only one sclera? Oh, you could just change it to just one of them. Or if you want to build upon the texture itself, there's this thing called vertex paint, and you could color it in. But I don't want to do that. I actually just want to be a little bit lazy about it. I don't want to paint and try to erase things. So what I'm going to do is select this white part of the eye, go to UV editing, and listen. Alright, you got to do what you got to do if you want to save materials sometimes. There's multiple ways if you want to decide how you want to go about it. As you can tell, whenever you select something in this mode, it'll highlight it over here in your UV, under UV editing. So it helps you get a better understanding of your UVs and the things it's using. So when I go back and select the face, and then this is the tongue, these are the lips, partially lips, and this is the tongue, and this is the other things like emotes. So like I said, so this right here should be this right here, and then that's for something else I cannot remember for the life of me right now. So I just want it completely dark pitch black. So as you can tell, I selected the eye, and if I hold G and drag it about, I can change it to any color, and I will turn off this so you can see it better. You can see it changing to lips, red, white, or you could scale it down and jump into a black spot on the texture if it comes with it. Just like that, it's on one material. Yay! Well, it will become more difficult if you want this to be a toggle. So, what you might want to do instead is create a black dot on the texture right here and drag it in there instead. At least, that's how I do it. Just to save myself some space. But because I don't want this to be a texture, and I like it how it is, then this is fine for me. I will not be making it a toggle, and it uses one material instead of two. So I can just delete this one when I'm not in edit mode, which is over here. Just like that, we have it on one material. Decim, I don't want this eye texture. That is totally okay. So, there is two ways to go about it. First, I'll do it for this eye. But I want an eye texture by fair. To do that, I'm going to jump into my textures. Fair. Let's see. Sparkle eye texture. This is not by Fair, but this is by Juliet. Absolutely wonderful person. Go by. As you can tell, completely different. So what we want to do is select it, Control L, and then go to UV editing again. What we want to do is select all of it with A, and just scale it down until it looks relatively normal, which it is done. But as you can tell, if you try to do the same thing and assign it to the texture, you'd have to do it to both of them. So if you want to change the UV for both of them, I recommend you do it to both of them, which means selecting both of them, assigning them the same material, and then changing the texture to whatever one you want. I'll keep it on this one for now. Going to UV, selecting all of it, scaling it down, and this looks cute and perfect. And now that we're here, I still wanted to have two separate eyes. Excuse me, Decim. Well, that's okay. So instead, we're going to do the vice versa of copy pasting onto the old eyes. Paste. And then the new eyes, I want to change to a pink color again. Then for the old eye, Control L, and assign it onto the old eye, which now has an updated texture. Just like that, we have two different eye textures in the most minimal time of less than 5 minutes. Just like that, you can use any texture you want for your eyes. Sometimes, depending on the shape, it might be more difficult. Allow me to pause and find a texture that fits the description. Okay, I've dug around and these are some other textures that I own. As you can tell, very funky once I selected it. So when I check the UV, oh no, it's this way. I don't even know how to describe this, if I would say hot dog style or vertical or whatever, but you understand that this is a sphere, that this is a whole upward cylinder looking thing. So all we want to do is scale as normal, except we're gonna try to fit it to the eye size, because if we try to keep it a circle, yes, you can do that, but you can tell you're missing out on the texture. So if you try to match the proportions of your eye, you can get relatively the same aspect, just executed slightly different, because you're not just scaling it upwards or inwards, you're scaling it up and down to try to match the girth of your eye texture. I hope this helps you to understand eye textures and scleras, and you can also just replace the texture over the image, but I highly advise you don't do that because you're just going to be stuck in some photo editing software scaling up, down, sideways, just trying to get it to fit. Using it in Blender was obviously the fastest thing I could do in under 10 minutes, with multiple eye textures, multiple eye sizes, and Sclera, and everything you can imagine within, again, 10 minutes. So I hope this helps out anyone who was curious on how to edit eye texture / Sclera, and hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.